Hi everyone, this is Knowledge Topper, and in this particular video, we will understand how to answer to another very important and a very common interview question, and that is what are your strengths and weaknesses. Basically, in most job interviews, candidates will be asked to describe their strengths and weaknesses, and this particular question is asked by almost every interviewer with respect to almost a lot of job titles. So in most job interviews, candidates will be asked to describe their strengths and weaknesses, and in preparation for an interview, candidates should consider how best to answer this particular question. So basically, that the information is useful to the employers while not damaging your chances of being hired as well. So first of all, I will basically explain you the purpose of asking this particular question by an interviewer basically, and then we will further look the example answers that I prepared for you guys. Okay. Before moving towards directly on to the topic, you have to understand a few things about this particular question. Okay. And the first and very most important thing is that your strengths and weaknesses should reflect the requirements of the role. Okay, you must understand this particular key point, and you have to ensure that you highlight your skills that are listed in your job description. Okay. And you have to explain how you will gain or improve your critical skills that you basically lack in. And in general, your strengths should be skills that basically you can supported through experience. Okay. And like for example, if I take an example about strengths, you can say that like if you list communication as a strength. Okay, that you have a good communication skills, so you may want to recall a situation while answering to your interviewer, in which basically you use communication to reach a goal, or you resolve any particular problem in past. So you have to include that in your answer as well. Now, talking about your weaknesses, you have to understand that your weaknesses can include a hard skill that's set out in the job description. Okay. And basically that you emphasize your desire to acquire this skill through a course or program. So you have to provide that as well. And similarly, a soft skill in which you maybe lack in, you should be supported with a plan to learn or improve that particular skill in future. So you have to include that particular weaknesses in your particular answer. Now, talking about the strengths and weaknesses. Now, one more thing is that I want to add here, like though basically it is important to be honest while talking about your strengths and weaknesses, especially your weaknesses. But it is very important to be honest about your weaknesses, but there are a few traits that are not appropriate, or that are not beneficial for you to mention in a job interview. Like talking about, if I give you an example about that, if you say that I have a weakness about tardiness, like tardiness is my weakness, and poor attention is my weakness, and inability to meet basically deadlines is my weakness. So it creates problem for you. So you don't need to reveal anything about reveal too much about yourself. Okay. Now, if I share with you guys the example answer that I prepare for you guys. Now let's suppose that you are in an interview, and your interviewer asks you about what are your strengths and weaknesses. So how you can answer to this particular question is that I have to created five strengths answers and five weaknesses answers. Okay, as you can see. So first of all, well, I consider my leadership skills to be one of my greatest strengths. During my time as a department head, I successfully merged two teams and organized training programs for all team members to ensure that everyone basically was confident in their new role. And as a result, we were able to increase sales by 5% within our first month as a new team. Now, the example two about strength. Well, basically, thanks to my experience as an HR representative, I have gained excellent communication skills there, and I was responsible for facilitating informational workshops for staff members and mediated any conflict in the workplace. I have also completed a course on effective communication from XYZ institution. Okay. Well, I have 5 years of experience as a copywriter and consider myself to have strong writing skills. I was promoted to an editorial position after 5 years at the company. So I have also improved my editing skills, and special thanks to my new role. Another example for you guys about strength. Well, I am very honest. When I feel that my workload is too large to accept another task, or if I don't understand something, I always let my supervisor know about this. Then the fifth example for you guys. My people skills are my greatest strength. I find it easy to connect with almost anyone, and I often know how to empathize with others in an appropriate way. Now, these are some examples that I, include in this sample answer, but you can also include these strengths as well in order to answer this particular question about what are your strengths. Okay, you can use about your strength as communication skills, people skills, writing skills, analytical skills, honesty, leadership skills, patience, writing skills, empathy, initiative, self motivation, computer literacy, and there are multiple other strengths as well. Or if you think that you are specialized in any other particular strength, you can include that as well, but make sure that you have to include and relevant to the job description, roles and skills that that is required to fulfill that particular job. Now talking about some weaknesses. Okay, uh, now let's suppose that your interviewer asks you about let's say what are your weaknesses. So how to answer this particular question? Well, I find public speaking intimidating and have often struggled with presentations. And as a result, I am currently taking a public speaking course at a community college to become more confident and learn to structure a speech basically more effectively. Okay. The second example is that I often struggle with delegating and choose to take on a larger workload to ensure that a task is completed perfectly. And basically, this puts more pressure on myself. So I have been using software to assign tasks and track their completion. So far, basically, this has helped me to trust my coworkers and focus more on my own task. The other example is that shyness is something that I struggle with in large groups, and basically, I find it intimidating to ask questions or raise points. So I have often remained quiet in the past, and I have been trying to be more vocal in smaller groups to become more confident. Uh, the fourth example is that I mainly use Python in my last position, so I don't have as much experience with Java. I did a course on Java for one semester at university, but I haven't used it since then. The fifth example for you is that, well, I struggle with negative criticism more, and I can become, more obsessed with perfecting my work after receiving notes from a supervisor. Well, I appreciate the guidance. I think I can learn to be less harsh on myself. So these are the weaknesses, that I used in my example answer. Well, what are other different weaknesses that you can use as well? There is self-criticism, shyness, lack of knowledge of particular software, public speaking, taking criticism, lack of experience, inability to delegate, lack of confidence. So you can, include these weaknesses if you think that it is relevant to your, job description, and it is relevant to, the job requirement. You can also include those weaknesses that you think that you are weak in that particular area, and you can include those as well, but make sure that those are also relevant with your job description. Okay, so I think this is the video for all of you guys. I think hope you like today's video on how to answer a very important, a very common interview question about what are your strengths and weaknesses. I hope you liked today's video. If you like this video, thumbs up. Do subscribe to our channel Knowledge Topper, as well as like our Facebook page, and do join our Facebook group as well, where you find a lot of good material, not just related to these job related interview questions, but from other different courses as well. So this is the video for all of you guys. Thank you so much, everyone. It's time to say bye bye.